So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another YouTube video. Now I have had the privilege of working with some incredible clients over the years. And I've gone to the point with my agency where, and in fact, I've even kind of changed a lot of my sales process around on the actual 45-minute discovery call. This year, we've kind of shifted to a new model. We're now doing a 15-minute demo with Danny, my CMO. And then from there, if Danny thinks that they're a good fit, then they'll have a 45-minute follow-up call. Even now, I've shifted a lot more priority on the sales call itself to finding out whether the client is a good culture fit for us. By that, I mean, will they slot in? Are they sort of the ideal client we're looking for? I don't mean just in terms of the structure of their business. I also mean that in terms of like their personality. I did an analysis the other day on the actual lifetime value of clients, as well as sort of a pain in the ass score I gave them. And it was very shocking to see like certain clients where I even thought, I was like, look, they're our lowest retainer. They're not really a big money maker, but because they've been with us for 12, 14 months, they were way better than the clients that we were charging, for example, double, and have been with us less time, were more of a pain in the ass, etc., etc. Now, one thing I will say is there's always been a strong correlation between the clients that pay the most and that are the least pain in the ass, funnily enough. But really over the years, there are three main attributes that I've seen that match with all of my favorite and most profitable clients, and I want to share those with you today. So number one is being punctual and respectful. And to be honest, whether it's in the realm and whether it's in the arena of business or not, this is important. I expect a client to be punctual to the call. By that, I mean, they should not be 10 minutes late. If they are 10 minutes late, they should have a good reason as to why they're 10 minutes late. And for me, to be honest, if they have to cancel 24 hours, look, even if they have to cancel 2 hours before, let's say they genuinely have this last minute thing, I don't mind so much, just as long as they let me know, they send me an email, or they propose a new time, or if it's booked in via calendar, they can just kind of reschedule themselves in. Now, I actually had this recently with a client where we were meant to have a call. We already had, Danny had his first demo call, then I had a second call. It was actually a third call 3 weeks after my call with them because they just needed to figure out some stuff internally in their own business. And I even sent a message the night prior just going, hey, really looking forward to our call tomorrow. I had my read receipts on so I can obviously see that the email was read, and it was read that same night. And the next day, no show. And then they message and they're like, oh, I'm in the gym, like I'm gonna have to reschedule. And to me, that's gone. I couldn't give a fuck whether we're charging them 15,000 pounds, 20,000 pounds a month. For me, that's a professional boundary. If you know that you have a meeting the next day and you let them know at that time, once again, if you find out 2 hours before and an hour before that something is up and you can't make it, okay, that's fine. If you ghost on a call or you flake on a call, for me, that's a boundary, and they're not becoming a client. I literally couldn't care less if it was 100 grand a month. There's no amount of money. For me, it's just a professional boundary. Once again, if you're 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes late to a call, you had another call before, that's not a big deal. If you're 15 minutes late, hopefully you have some sort of good excuse, and hopefully if you know that you're gonna be 15 minutes late and you know that something else is running over, you just send a quick email, a quick message to let me know. But if you flake, to me, that's a boundary, that's a no-go. That client is actually still messaging us trying to get a new meeting booked in, and I respectfully declined. Obviously, I didn't say, hey, that's a professional boundary. That's something we don't tolerate. So no, that's not what I said, but I just made up some excuse, and I just said, look, we're at a capacity. So unfortunately, we won't be able to work with you right now. There was another example, I believe like 2 months ago, actually on the vlog, where I had a call, they were closed. Then there actually needed to be a second follow-up call with all the business partners present. Once again, they flaked on that. Every single week, the business owner has been messaging me. And once again, for me, it's just a professional boundary. If you know that you have a call and you flake on it, to me, that's a no-go. And to me, the reason that is a no-go is because guys don't even have the client-agency relationship. Like, they're not even paying you yet. So once they pay you, imagine what they're gonna be like. Imagine how much of a headache they're gonna be like. So for me, there's certain things that people can do where I'm like, oh, thank God you self-qualified yourself. Like you just showed me and you perfectly depicted that you're gonna be a pain in the ass client. So like, thank God. As I said, for me, that is one of the easiest ways. If someone is like for example, if you ask a very simple question and on the sales call, like how much revenue are you doing? And they just won't tell you, they refuse to tell you. Or once again, if they are flaky, or let's just say they give you just a bit of ego and sass, like, you know, still work past it, okay? But also keep that as a mental note in your mind that they're already showing you signs of what it's gonna be like working together. So it's so awesome that a client can almost pre-qualify themselves and you can kind of get an idea and a pulse on what it's gonna be like to work with them. Ladies and gents, remember, you are agency owners. You guys are a return on investment driven service. You guys are there to make money. You're not an expense. Maybe if you were an expense, I'd say, okay, just take the bullshit, you know, just suck it up. At the end of the day, you're an expense, but you're there to make the money. You make the money. So when you play that sort of role for a business owner, hold your standards high, walk away. The next thing that I look for in clients, and look, that's not to say that we won't take on clients where it is a small step, but like I would prefer quantum leap rather than a small step. So what I mean by that is our longest standing clients are the ones who, when we first started with them, were running no ads or were just kind of laughable, the ads they were running. Now, as I said, we have plenty of clients that come to us and just want us to improve by 20% on their current results. Honestly, they'd be even just happy if we maintained, and to free up the time that they're spending managing the advertising is worth it. But I'm just gonna be honest, they're just not as fun as the clients where they're not running any ads or they're spending very little, and like we can come in and we can make that quantum leap for them. Those are the businesses where I stay friends with them for years because they have so much gratitude towards me and my agency for what we've been able to do for them. And I mean, look, in all fairness, it makes sense. It's something new, it's something exciting. Now, in a lot of ways, there is an aspect of it where if they're not already running ads or it's not something they're fully bought into, in some ways it can be harder to close than those who are already running ads, because at the end of the day, they know the value in it, they're doing it. So there's that, but I've just noticed that a lot of times these clients will be the ones that stay on for a year plus because, as I said, they have a lot of gratitude towards you, and it's not something that they understand or have taken time to understand. They have no context to pitch you up against as an agency owner. Now, the last thing that I look for in a client, and this is just me personally, I understand not everyone likes to run their agency like this, but for me, it comes down to, would I have a beer with them? Now, this is just me. I usually end up building real world like friendships with my agency clients, present and past. You know, I've had a client invite me to his wedding before, which was definitely an honor. I've had clients send me out gifts before, but this is just me. For me in my business, like I want to be passionate about the people who we help, and I know for some agencies, like that's not the case. And for me, I not only want to work with companies that I believe in, but people that I get along with. To give you a perfect example, there was a watch company, and you know, without saying the name, it was a watch company. They didn't actually produce watches. They were in the watch industry. Very, very, very big player. And this deal would have been around 15,000 pounds a month. Once again, they are dozens and dozens of employees. And once again, it was like on paper, it was my perfect client. Because realistically, I'm never gonna sign Patek Philippe or Audemars Piguet or Richard Mille as a client. Like that's not gonna happen. But in the watch space, this is about as close as I was gonna get to my perfect client. And I have never been more turned off by a way. And look, you need to understand the watch world is very snobby, and I don't like that. Like I don't like people who are snobby. I don't like people who will say 12 words when you could have just said it in 2 and just said what you meant instead of like dancing around the topic. So yeah, I had to let that 15,000 pound a month deal go because number one, I could tell they were gonna be a pain in the ass client, and number two, I wouldn't have a beer with them. As much as I wanted to share a bottle of Pinot Noir and, you know, talk about the watch world and horology, I just knew I couldn't with this client, and I just knew that there was for me at the end of the day, what it comes down to is there was a cultural difference. Every single one of the clients that I've worked with, for me, we have a good culture fit and we care about the same things. Like that's why, for example, many of you guys know Kieran, who's my product manager for GrowYourAgency, but 30% of his time is spent writing all of the ad copy for our clients. And you need to understand that, and Kieran at his old agency was managing 400,000 pounds a month in retainers. He was the boss, he was the head honcho. It was Times Magazine, actually their marketing division. So, you know, Kieran is almost in my ears because some of the clients that he was working with, you know, they were charging 15,000 pounds, 20,000 pounds a month, 50,000 pounds a month, up to 80,000 pounds a month. And granted, they were kind of like a full service agency in a lot of ways. But you know, he's always in my ear talking about how like they were doing boost posts and they were charging 10K a month in Facebook ad service fee for literally just doing like cheap brand awareness and boost post ads. And he's like, honestly, we get some of these clients for like 15, 25, 35,000 pounds, like upwards. And it would be so easy. And I'm like, Kieran, how many dinners did you have to take these people to in person? How many times did you have to scratch their back? How many proposals did you have to send? I went, look, like at the end of the day, my business is there to serve me. My agency is there to serve me. That's not who I am. Like I know what my ideal agency is. I know what my ideal clients are like. I know the way that I want to be able to speak, the way I want to be able to speak with my clients, the way I want to behave with my clients, the sort of culture fit that I want to have, the sort of relationship I want to have. And those sort of corporate clients, they don't fit into that scope. I don't like personally working with organizations who have more than 30 people in them. And I think that's only happened 3 times in the history of my agency. Yeah, 3 times, yeah. Like I like to speak with the founder. I like to build a relationship with the founder. I don't want to be referring to the CMO. Like nothing against them, but as I said, I want to be speaking with the founder at all points. I want to build a relationship with the founder, and that's also something that I love about having an agency. I like being a respected business owner. Like I got into this game initially with the agency stuff to make money. That was it. That was my only goal. I would say really after 2 years, I went, okay, I'm making good money, but like to me, respect means a lot. Like I want to be a respected business owner, and I want to have the respect of other business owners worth having the respect of other successful business owners. So look, I know for some other people it's different. For some other people, look, as long as the money's there, they will take it. But this is just a personal boundary of mine. This is a personal thing for me. For me, it's really important there's a good culture fit. There's respect between two business owners. And then for me, really, you know, with my agency, I want to build partnerships. I want to build partnerships long-term. And, you know, those are really my three main criteria, which is number one, be punctual and respectful. Number two, preferably if we can make a quantum leap rather than just maintaining or improving by 20%, that's awesome. And number three, do I get along with them? Like, could I have a beer with them? Because as I said, for me, as the way that we run the agency is more professional than I've ever seen any other agency out there. And we've had all of our clients mention that as well, is that they're so shocked by the level of professionalism and how meticulous we are with everything that we do. But I leave the professionalism at the door when it comes to that human one-on-one connection with my clients. So ladies and gentlemen, that has been mine. Go ahead and leave in the comments. I'm going to be reading and responding to all comments. What are the three things you look for? Whether that's something a little bit more granular, like they need to have a Facebook pixel, or whether it's something a little more esoteric and character based. Let me know. I'd be super interested to see. And ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate every single one of you guys for watching this video. Can you go ahead and smash that like button? As I said, I'll be checking out the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one.